Welcome back on this Thursday morning, Aaron. As we've been mentioning all morning, that threatening weather in western Alaska. What's the latest?
Well, we're still seeing those gusty conditions. Now, the good news is those peak winds, those have subsided across western and northwest Alaska. With that said, coastal flooding will continue. Winds will still be quite gusty throughout the day, although max winds should be less than 50 miles per hour for the rest of your Thursday. Northwest Alaska will see the greatest flood potential as we've been dealing with out towards Kivalina as well as Kotzebue, and then we're watching more rain, winds, and rough seas that will move into the Bering Sea, the Aleutians, and western Alaska as we welcome in the weekend. So our winds, those will continue to kind of taper off as we welcome in the remainder of today on into the afternoon hours. So that is some good news when it comes to the winds, as that will allow that storm surge and all of that water that pushed inland to kind of recede, and we'll see a brief lull in the activity. And then as we welcome in the weekend, we're watching our next storm system that's building into the Aleutians and the Bering Sea. This is coming from the remnants of a typhoon. We are going to see another round of some winds and rain moving into western and southwest Alaska as we welcome in the weekend. Now, the strongest winds look to arrive overnight Saturday on into Sunday. Be prepared for the possibility that we could once again see winds in excess of about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Of course, those stronger winds look to be out over the open waters of the Bering Sea. So out towards St. Paul Island, we could see that potential for some of those stronger winds, as well as Gamble, St. Lawrence. So this activity kind of tapers off across western and northwest Alaska. And again, we will continue to see that coastal flooding, which will likely persist through the remainder of today. Those winds, though, will gradually taper off, and we'll see some snow spreading through the Brooks Range and possibly through the interior overnight on into our Friday. There's that next storm system, though, that will build northward into the Bering, and we're going to see the greatest impacts again arriving Saturday on into Sunday as we really begin to see this storm system building northward across the state. You can see out towards the Aleutians by early Saturday morning, we can see some widespread rainfall across the region. This all comes as that ridge of high pressure still remaining with us just a bit to our south. It has become somewhat flattened, so we're seeing our motion or the flow in our atmosphere pushing all of these storms into western Alaska. So we're going to continue to see this for the foreseeable future. That's why we've got another storm on our doorstep as we welcome in the weekend. So again, be prepared for another round of some possible rain as well as some high winds, as well as the potential that we could see some more rounds of some wintry mix in the forecast. In fact, the outlook ahead continues to favor well above average precipitation. In fact, later today on into the close of this week, we'll see some increasing snowfall potential for areas of the western Brooks Range as well as the central Brooks Range. If you're truckers or anyone driving along the Dalton Highway, be prepared for that possibility that we could see some areas of snow in the forecast. Now, here across South Central, while we will tap into some cooler weather as the week draws to a close, we're only expected to drop into the 40s. A high of 45 degrees Saturday. Rain does return this weekend on into next week. Sunday, maybe a bit on the wet side and possibly even some breezy conditions moving back into South Central to start off next week.